Hello, today I'm going to talk all about Petite knit. So I've made a bunch of things by Petite knit starting in 2023, and to be honest, if I hadn't discovered her, I'd probably still be making scarves. So I wanted to take this time to review all the things that I've made by her. These are all just my opinion, and just a caveat, I really do like her. Not just the patterns that they come up with, her and her team, but also the support videos, because I feel like her support videos are what make her patterns make even more sense, and they're explained extremely well. Even though they're not in English, I still find them more understandable than, say, an English tutorial. So anyway, I'm gonna get right into it, starting with the April cardigan, which I made in 2023. Okay, so here is the April cardigan that I made in 2023. It is using a kind of colorful yarn, a rainbowy yarn that I got from my local yarn store. It doesn't have a brand, it's like the yarn store's brand, and it has a component of cotton and a component of acrylic. So it was dirt cheap, like a few dollars for 100 grams. And I held it with a soft silk mohair from Rowan, like a Rowan Kid Silk mohair. And together they created this extremely beautiful combination. I can't believe this is the first pattern I ever made on my own, like without like help from my mom, and complete like following a pattern. And it turned out really, really well, minus one boo-boo that I made at the beginning where I accidentally did this weird pearly thing, which in turn creates this kind of funny looking flap. Like it's just something that I would have to unravel the whole thing to go back and fix or do some major surgery. But I love this piece. I easily could have just made this April cardigan and be done because it was such a hit. And I really recommend it. I feel like it's something you can wear in so many different scenarios. It's not too oversized, so you don't feel frumpy. It can still be casual depending on how you, the yarns that you pick or the way that you style it. So I love, 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 love the April cardigan. So much so that I made a second one in 2024, which I showed in my my roundup video. And yeah, this one I used Knitting for Olive merino held with soft silk mohair in that plum rose kind of color, and also a hit. Another modification is I did a double knit button band rather than the rib button band. 10 out of 10, highly recommend this. It's just such a good pattern. So I made two slipovers by Petite knit. I made her Stockholm vest, which I can't seem to find. I think that was the second thing I ever made. I really like that. And I'm so sorry that I can't show it to you, but I do have another slipover that I made. This is the Ingrid slipover. You will see loose ends. But yeah, it looks really cool. This, I used a Debbie Bliss tweed. I decided to make this slipover because I heard that the decreases on the arm are not charted out, and so it can be a little tricky to do that neatly. So I just opted for the slipover, and when I first made it, it didn't take me very long, but I wasn't sure if I was gonna wear it, so I didn't actually start wearing it until a year later, or like 6 months later. This is a good pattern, and I recommend it. I think if you're looking for a slipover with that patterning, I do recommend this. I think I just made a mistake in terms of there's supposed to be eyelets here, and my little eyelets are very modest. I didn't do them properly. But yeah, I really like the Ingrid slipover. Okay, next I'm gonna get into some of her summer patterns, which I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really love. So in 2023, I made the June top with some kind of left, it's really wrinkly, sorry. I made the June top by Petite knit. It's basically a top down or bottom, I can't even remember anymore, tank top, which I heard people on YouTube say is bra friendly, but definitely not the case for me. I couldn't get the join to seam up nicely. Like I said, it's not bra friendly for me. It just looks really sloppy. I mean, obviously right now it's wrinkled because it's been tucked away. And the yarn that I use is something I found on Amazon like in 2020. I just wanted to use the yarn. So yeah, this pattern didn't work out for me and I don't recommend it. I don't see her promote her June top so much anymore. So I wonder if she's over it too. I don't know. Anyway, my rating of the June top is quite low. Sorry, it's a mess. I made the Cumulus Tee, and so this one I used the Tin Line by Sandnes Garn as recommended by her. I didn't do as shallow of a or as deep of a V-neck. I actually did one less reduction for the V-neck, so mine's less deep. But I still like maintained the raglan increases, and then it's got like the I-cord edging everywhere. Everyone loves their Cumulus Tee. I don't. I don't think I like the Tin Line. I have like just so much. I just don't feel like, just look at the tensioning. It's a little uneven. And then it asks, I think, for like that the bind off where you kind of sew it. I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, but it makes getting it over your head a bit uncomfortable. It has no give, and like just from a sensory perspective, I hate that feeling where it's so stiff. And I use magic loop to kind of knit it in the round, and this yarn is not forgiving. So let me see if I can find the laddering. Okay, I did a good job of hiding it, but I know that there was some laddering here that I tried to sew up. Anyway, I think people have had good luck with the Cumulus Tee knit in pure silk. I might give that a go because I'm going to show you another pure silk project, another project that I've used with pure silk that maybe can make it worth it. But I am neutral about the Cumulus Tee, but take that with a grain of salt because I think everybody loves it. And I see why they love it, it's just mine didn't work out. Another summer tee, this is the Anker Tee. So she has a bunch of Anker tops, sweaters, knit on different needle sizes, different gauges. And this is one that's knit on 3mm. And it's a tee, as I said, and I used Dusty Artichoke by Knitting for Olive, pure silk. And I didn't wear this once. Like, I don't like it. We've got laddering going on somewhere. Oh, so you can see, you know, I feel like the laddering was more obvious when I was knitting it. I don't know if you can see that. Smack down the middle. It's just this like floppy garment that I'm not proud of. And I'm not overly thrilled by the motif. So I thought I liked it. It looked great on her. Doesn't look so good on my knit. I don't like the pure silk. Sorry. So yeah, my summer knits have been a disaster. I see that she's made a lot more summer patterns. I haven't tried them. Maybe they're okay, but I just don't think I'm gonna make summer knits. I'm perfectly happy just making sweaters even in summer, because then at least I'll be ready when the winter hits. So yeah, my take on her summer garments are pass. I wouldn't do it. I'm gonna move on now to some of her raglan sweaters. This one I made in 2023. I have featured it before. It's the zipper sweater. This is like the regular heavyweight one. I made it using drops Nepal, held single. Excuse my nails. And when I first finished it, I was super duper proud of it, but like many people, I thought it was, after wearing it, it was so heavy. It's such a heavy duty sweater that you can really overheat in this thing. So I kind of had a brief period where I was really bummed that it felt too heavy to wear, even though I put so much effort into it. So, you know, I think for maybe 3 or 4 months after finishing it, I didn't really wear it. And then in January, so I'm finished in October. Then in January 2024, I decided to wear it. I experienced the same thing about the overheating, but I decided to just let it be. And then when fall of 2024 hit, I started to wear it again. And then I was finding it a little bit more comfortable. So people say that the zipper sweater, like I said, is very heavy. And yeah, just keep that in mind. I would really urge you to consider the zipper sweater light. You might get more use out of it. I don't think I'll make any more zipper sweaters. I'm good with the one. But if I were to make it again, I would make the zipper sweater light. I would also use the yarn that she recommends. So she uses Pure Gint, I think, for the light one. Or she uses 100% wool. Drops Nepal is alpaca. Well, it has a heavy alpaca blend in it. So there's more drape to it. It doesn't sit the same way. I still like it, but I would just keep that in mind that when you add the zipper, it adds weight to it. So you want to use the right wool to keep that zipper stable and not have it drag the sweater down. So I'm really glad I made it. I was like obsessed with making it. I made it. I didn't wear it for a really long time, but now it's been reborn. So I'm really glad I have it. I'm really glad I have this sweater. I do see myself like keeping this for a really long time. It's held up well. I made in 2024 another raglan sweater, which is the Monday sweater, and I talked about this a bit in my roundup, but I don't love it because of my yarn choice, and I don't like it because there's she asks you to do this this collar right away, and it's twisted and it's very clear in this light yarn, and it just, I know like I didn't do the best job, so take that with a grain of salt. But if I were to make this again, I would not make the collar up front. I would make the collar after I'm finished. I would pick up for it and then fold it over, because that worked out with the Ingrid slipover. So I think by doing that, I can at least go back and fix it a little bit more easily. I think. I don't know. I don't like how that collar turned out. But I guess as a raglan sweater, it's good. It is a very solid pattern. I think a lot of people love it. I like people make multiples of it. I won't be. It is a good pattern. It is good. And in the right yarn choice, I think it's spectacular. But yeah, I won't be making another one of these. Okay, now I'm going to talk about my cardigans that I've made by her, which are, well, besides the April cardigans, but I also made the Agnete cardigan, which I've showed off a couple of times already, which is just phenomenal. It takes a long time. My advice would be to really think about what length you want it. So she has a cropped one, and then she has a normal length one. And you might think that the cropped one is what you want, but I did the cropped one and it's super cropped. So take that extra time to make sure you're comfortable with cropped or non-cropped, because I initially picked cropped and then I ended up having to go back and fix it and make the longer one. And that impacts how you do the buttons, because everything, the double knit button band, is all made at the same time as knitting the actual garment. The other thing is, this is maybe where support videos are not as helpful by Petite Knit, because I think her and her team are continental style knitters and I'm an English style knitter, and so the brioche is worked, it's a different hand movement when you do brioche stitch in English style versus continental. So you might be finding yourself looking at other videos that show you how to do it, how to do brioche flat and in the round, which are different English style. So take the time to learn about that. And another thing is fixing mistakes. It's really hard. I think you can do it using a crochet hook. So I just kind of swallowed my mistakes. I just accepted them. They're within the garment. So yeah, this was a labor of love, but I love it. I do. And I really recommend this cardigan. I don't know why she doesn't promote it more. Maybe she does. But this Agnete cardigan is a solid piece. One of her best patterns, I think. Some people might think otherwise, but yeah, I love the Agnete. It's a really good pattern. I also mentioned that I made the Eva cardigan, which features this really thick button band, 2x2 button band. It also has like this feature that looks like a satin sleeve. Oh, let's show you this way. Which is super cool, but it is a boxy sweater. It's a little too oversized for my liking. I feel like it's just, it needs to be maybe I should have made it smaller. I just don't think I should have made this pattern. But I've mentioned before that I do wear it. I just don't love it. And I might reclaim the yarn down the road, maybe next year. I don't know. We'll see how this winter fares. I mean, you can wear it in the spring too. But yeah, it has this, like it all looks fine, right? The 2x2 ribbing is nice, but yeah, I don't love the Eva cardigan. She's got better stuff out there, but I think I was influenced by social media to make it. Now I have it. And I have made a few accessories. So I made 2 Oslo hats. This is one of them. This is in the double Sunday. Yeah, this is hard to avoid, but you make it by, it's a triple rimmed hat, and you have this section that is supposed to allow you to easily flip it so that you can wear it like that. But I still get like that line, like when in her pictures you don't see that line, it just like sits really nicely. Or I have some wrinkles in it from being stuffed in my bag. The double Sunday yarn that I don't know, does she recommend this? People have recommended double Sunday, so I followed that. I think this is a great pattern. I think this is a great hat. I love it. It looks super professional. Minus the fact that when you flip it inside out, you can see that little bump that she asked you to create, but I still like it. This is a good toque. And then out of her socks, I've made the Ruffle socks. And she has a good video on how to make it. I think it has like a different type of heel. Yeah, it has like a German short row heel. So it's easy to get holes in it, and I'll try to show you without grossing you out. But yeah, there's it's not as neat and tidy as, say, a heel flap and gusset type of sock. There are better sock patterns out there, but I was really curious about making the Ruffle. Would I make it again? Yeah, maybe in a different yarn. Now that I've done it, I know how to make it. A lot of people make her Sunday socks. I would give that one a go. Just a separate note about socks, and I don't think I've heard people talk about it, but in my experience, I love making socks, but if you have hardwood floors and you're wearing freshly washed or freshly made socks, they can be slippery, and you should be careful when you're walking, because it's not the same, for me at least, as wearing store-bought socks that have cotton in it. Or like, I don't slip in my regular socks, but when I wear woolen socks, I do. And I had a really bad fall, and it kind of scared me, and it makes me not want to make socks for people in my life, like my parents or things like that, because I would hate for them to be wearing my socks and then putting them at risk of slipping. So be careful when you consider making socks. That might just be a me thing, but with hardwood floors, I do find that they're slippery. One last thing, I made the Sophie scarf. I just finished it, actually. It's wrapped up like a croissant. I was making another type of scarf and I found it frustrating, so I decided to change gears, and I decided to make the Sophie Shawl. And it's basic, but I finally get the hype. It's really nice. It's because it's got that triangle shape. You're not making a long piece the whole time. It's tapered, so you're moving along quite fast. And the shape is really good for just wrapping around, keeping it under your jacket. So I get the hype finally. I understand it. And I'm totally on board. Just for background, I used the Drops Brushed Alpaca Held Double. Just so, because I have colorful jackets, and so I wanted something that was lightweight and that could match with multicolored, like different colors of jackets. So yeah, this is fresh off the needles and I love it. There might be some controversy with Sophie scarf, maybe just that it's just so popular, but I get it. I understand why. It only took me a couple years, but I like it. So that is my rapid fire review of the Petite knit patterns that I've made. I think, you know, she's for people who are maybe scared to make garments because they've never made garments before, or feel intimidated by the idea of making a sweater. If you've seen like old school patterns don't have a lot of information, and there's a lot of reliance on kind of already like baseline understanding of abbreviations or techniques. And because I've only really knit with the help of my mom, who's a really good knitter, I thought there was no way I would ever be able to make a sweater without her help, because I've always like used her help, and she's always knit things bottom up in pieces and sewn. And I think that is a really skilled way, or the way traditionally people make pattern or make garments, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how she learned, and that's how she makes her garments. And so Petite knit, most of her patterns are top down, right, like in the round, like all made in one go. And she has like the support videos that her team helped create, which make it even more easy. So the combination of her writing style, the type of patterns that she makes that are so simple and kind of all made in one shot, and then you've got the YouTube videos that explain how to do things. I think you've got like this killer combination, which then makes knitting so much easier, and you can really make your own wardrobe. So I think for that reason, she really deserves like the credit. And because of her, I've started to explore other designers and see, like, you know, dabble into things that are more textured and complicated that I never would have thought I would be making on my own. This, by the way, is not a Petite knit pattern. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Petite knit. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree or disagree with some of my commentary on the different things that I've made. Let me know if you want me to make something similar, reviewing other designers. The only other real ones that I've made more than one are My Favorite Things Knitwear and Sarah Nordman. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks. Hi there. I completely forgot a couple of items. So one of them was the breeze bag that I'll pop up here. It is not practical. I wish it was, so I would not make one again. And I also made penny gloves. I used Drops Flora for these, and they are great. I wear them all the time. I keep them stuffed in my pocket. The yarn choice obviously wasn't the best, but you know, you can always fix that using the recommended yarn. I would say though that they're light gloves, so they're not meant for like deep winter, but you can easily wear them underneath mitts if it's like super cold out. So yeah, penny gloves, highly recommend.